All right, here we go. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. Bitcoin pulling a little bit of a surprise on us today. Pretty happy about that, of course. We did get some good inflation data. Of course, it was just a small, tiny little part of the equation here, tomorrow being the big part. However, we did see some good numbers, and you saw how Bitcoin responded to those strong numbers. In fact, at this moment in time, Bitcoin is back above $97,000 after just less than like 24, 48 hours ago being down below 90,000. So all of a sudden, Bitcoin's had a crazy move. And this just kind of shows you guys how explosive Bitcoin still is and how volatile it is right now. I think one of the issues that we're going to be forced to talk about here over the next few weeks is basically there was a lot of volatility, a lot of leveraged money still in Bitcoin, and maybe some of that needs to be shaken out a little bit before things really start to go parabolic again. But as far as I can see right now, and we'll talk about this in a second, we've gone from like 89, 88,000 bucks up to 97. That's almost a $10,000 jump in just 48 hours. And I know that's going to seem kind of crazy, but man, still a pretty good move here. So as long as you guys have been holding or maybe DCing, I see Brock is DCing, you guys generally speaking are still pretty happy. And in fact, today we actually saw some altcoins make some really good moves. So far the most money I've made this week has basically just been doing some dollar cost averaging and not day trading, because I tried to day trade once this week, did not go my way because we had that huge liquidity grab, and now I'm like, you know what, maybe I should just keep on buying. I think that's probably the best way to go at this point here. Also, I have a new video coming out tomorrow morning going over some of the CPI data, what to expect from it, and then just going over some of the news, because there has been more bearish news coming from the news, I would say. And all of it really comes down to what's going to happen with the Fed and what's going to happen with inflation, right? A lot of people feel that inflation is going to be a little bit hotter than expected tomorrow. And of course, that would really punish Bitcoin. But until we get those numbers, we really just don't know, guys. I mean, that's the real point I want to reiterate to you guys. So before I get started here with technical analysis, going over some news, going over X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it right now, and of course looking at some of the coin market cap tokens, I'm going to give Loki a piece of a treat. I'm running low on treats. I don't want to open up the second bag, so he has all this ready to go for later on. But to start off, he's going to get a tiny treat to get started. Oh, I think he's getting like the system down, you know? See, now he's nice, cute. Oh, that wasn't so nice. He barely chewed it. But, oh, you guys can't see his tail. You guys can kind of see his tail wagging. He's in a good mood. Oh, you should. Now he wants to get a toy. Oh, see? Brought the toy over. He's like, it's playtime now. Come on, back over here. Okay, well, you can grab the toy right there as well. All right, so hope you guys again all had a good Tuesday. Let's get started with some technical analysis, I think, for right now. Again, this is day 2 of doing my stand-up desk. My legs kind of hurt from working up here all day, but I still think it's been overall pretty darn good, I have to say. So overall, pretty darn good. So as we look at Bitcoin here, guys, man, you guys know it's just been kind of an intense time. What we've seen is Bitcoin come all the way down here to $89,000, right? Bounce all the way back up here with some decent CPI or decent inflation numbers this morning. And then, you know, we kind of settled around that 50-day moving average like we were talking about, except for I thought maybe like, you know, a little bit later on. Around 97,500 basically. And now we're going to see tomorrow, do we have the oomph needed to actually break above that and start heading back up here towards $99,000 to $100,000. I don't actually think it'd be too much of a effort for Bitcoin to actually make that move. It's just that tomorrow we have that news, and that news determines everything going forward. And I want to stress, over the next few weeks and months and even quarters, as we talk about all this economic data, the base of everything is just, what does this mean for Jerome Powell and the Fed? Is this news that we're seeing, this economic news, this Trump news, this Senate news, this House of Representatives news, whatever this news is, right? World news, whatever it is. How does this affect Jerome Powell? How does this affect how many rate cuts we get in 2025? How does this affect any rate increases we may have? I doubt it, but you know, that type of stuff. And of course, how long does this make the pause go? All of these things are going to be crucial for us to understand over the next few months. And so I just really want to let you guys know, in case Bitcoin does get in this more of a boring pattern again, everything we focus on for like a weekly swing trade or a day trade going on, especially around news cycles, it's all going to come down to Jerome Powell. So over the next few weeks and days here, even tomorrow, I have videos coming out about these topics, what's happening in the news, what people are thinking about inflation because of some of the economic data. I'll be piecing all of that together for you guys so you guys can just enjoy your day a little bit more and not have to go look for that news yourself. I'll kind of be the conduit for you guys on that one. Almost think of it actually as an altcoin daily, but a little bit less pomp and flair. You know, they're really good at that because they want to game the algo, which I cannot stress is like such a good thing to do. I might get there one day, but I'm not as good at editing as them, so they really have a good product over there. But that's kind of the goal here. So, hey, Brock, Cameron, happy to see you guys. Max Power, happy to see you as always. William, sharing is caring. There we go. XRP's been doing just fine so far. Hey, Puma, Johan, happy to see both of you guys there. Loki's happy. He's looking as Paul like he just finished a dessert or something like that over here on the floor. And hey, Kareem, happy to see you as well. And Sebastian had a nice 10x long on XRP up around 50%. Feels good to finally be able to see some green. Exactly, yeah. My long-term plays have been really happy with this. Bitcoin right now, as you guys know, we don't really need to go into the weekly charts. I feel like we do that enough here. Daily charts, we're back to being bullish on the MACD, which is kind of an interesting sight here. Again, there's not really a breakout to make me as excited. Typically, I want to see some type of breakout. Maybe it's a breakout above the 50 moving average, but all that does is get us back up here towards like $199,000, and even then, what are you buying into tomorrow? CPI data. That's just going to really give you a rough experience if you guys don't guess right. And then of course, I didn't type any of that right, but that's okay. Still getting used to this new keyboard. Everything is a little bit off. Okay. So today we had the core PPI that was 0.1%, right? Median forecast was 0.3. Producer price index was 0.2. Median forecast was 0.4. So we did good, right? We did very, very good here. The optimism index, it was a little bit better than expected. But overall, guys, we're looking pretty good, right? Monthly U.S. federal budget, worse than, of course, as we spend a lot of money here. What's the surprise there, right? But tomorrow we have the consumer price index, CPI year over year, core CPI year over year, all that good stuff here. And then we have a bunch of speakers here. So the whole day should be volatile, but the morning is when you guys are going to see the majority of the volatility out there. So if you guys are thinking of like, oh, when should I put some news on the radio while I'm driving? Yeah, you probably want to listen to the news early in the morning, and you might not care as much in the afternoon. All we're looking at is like Fed speaker, Fed president speaking, you know, right, in the Fed beige book. Maybe at 2 o'clock, the Fed beige book, that might be kind of interesting. That's 2 p.m. Eastern time, 11 p.m. I believe, West Coast time here. That may be something, but you know, as we look at everything here, guys, tomorrow's the big day. We've been talking about this for a while. If you guys are looking for any other catalyst this month besides, you know, what's happening here with inflation, it's just going to be the Trump inauguration happening on the 20th. It is coming up any day now. I don't expect as many pomp and flair like around Bitcoin around that time. Bitcoin might have a good move, but really, there has to be a catalyst throughout the day that gets Bitcoin moving. It could be something like a Trump and Elon tweet. It could be something like Trump talking about Bitcoin in his inaugural address. I don't know if he's willing to do that, but I'm waiting to hear. You know, I'm optimistic. Those type of things are what can get Bitcoin back above this kind of downtrend that we've been seeing, right? You can see right there. There's a white line representing a downtrend. If we want to break above this, I do think we're going to need some help from CPI and Donald Trump. I don't think it's just going to be one or the other. And primarily, we're looking for a reason for the dollar index to come down. And this is where Trump's is going to have like an interesting effect, let's say that, right? If we go over here to the dollar index, sorry, that's the Russell. Look at this weekly chart. You guys can see over the last few weeks and months, the dollar has been going higher and higher and higher. That's fine. We saw Bitcoin go sky high during part of this as well. But at that time, we still had rate cuts happening. So that was good news for us. Rate cuts, more important than what the dollar index is doing. However, what we're seeing right now is the dollar index continue to go higher, going down a little bit today after it hits a little bit of resistance, of course. But when with Trump, especially when it comes to his inauguration, he may talk about tariffs. And when we impose tariffs on other countries, that brings up the value of the dollar, right? That could help us in certain things, but as far as liquidity and the way the government works and the way crypto works, it actually is going to be hurtful for a little bit. So I'm thinking that it may go back and forth, but regardless, I still think it's going to be a good thing overall for Bitcoin, because most Bitcoin lovers, most Bitcoin traders are going to be looking for Bitcoin and not necessarily tariffs. And especially on Monday during that whole inauguration parade, the party, whatever comes out of it, we're going to have some inertia here from whatever happens on CPI. So sure, it can bounce up and down like it always does, on that day. But if we have a good inflation data coming out tomorrow, that should give Bitcoin a big boost into the inauguration, which could get Bitcoin possibly back above $102,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. And I think that's kind of the goal for now. One of the things that, of course, irks me here is, if you guys know, I took that trade on Ethereum a couple days ago. It's still not back up to where I bought. I mean, I got stopped out, basically. You can imagine me buying right here, getting stopped out right here. You can imagine me hoping for something of a larger move. Ethereum still hasn't gotten back up here. Solana, a little bit better, but still not back up to that previous spot. Dogecoin doing better, as we talked about yesterday. Dogecoin is something that I just love right now. WIF, still really oversold. Let me just go to some of these weekly charts. I want to remind you guys how crazy this has been here. Bonk, we're just same pattern over and over again. But even some other stuff like Ethereum Classic, right? Had a nice move, but this thing's been coming down quite a bit here. And you look at where it was, I still think there's some optimism, but damn, that breakout didn't do anything. Things like Gala coming back down after a really nice move all the way back in November 2021. Still kind of in a painful experience here. ICP, which I think has been getting more recognition, despite all the craziness that happened back during its early days. You have a trend line right here now that maybe you have a breakout. Maybe that makes everything go parabolic for an altcoin season. You can kind of hope about that type of stuff. But right now, I'm still kind of getting a little bit picky here. Turbo, still looking okay. Not really good for me over the last few months, of course, but generally speaking, if you bought a long time ago, you're still looking good. That's why we talked yesterday about what's happening over the last 100 days, 90 days, things like that. Last 90 days, Bitcoin's still up 42%. Last 90 days, Ethereum's only up 23, but it's still fine. XRP's up 386, BNB's up 16, Solana's up 20, Dogecoin's up 184%. We're still looking fairly good for a lot of tokens. For the tokens that aren't doing so good, maybe you want to take opportunities to invest pretty heavily into those suckers. Maybe not. Rune. We all remember all of these tokens had really crazy runs and they just kind of died out. Do you guys want to go back into those tokens? Those are all decisions that you guys have to make. But I have to say, I'm not doing so much of it. I am doing a little bit of it, but it's really going to be personalized things where I'm like, okay, what's under a penny right now? What still has a reasonable market cap, like 1.5 billion for Dog with Hat? It'll go up, but I'd prefer to get something around a 400 to a 500 to a $300 million market cap where I feel really good about it. And that's kind of where my mind is right now, right? As far as everything else in the market, of course, there's some things like Moodang, which popped up, came back down. Those short-term memes that can be really powerful, but man, holding those for the long term, they can definitely burn you. One last thing here. MACD is still bullish, stochastic RSI bearish, but at least the MACD on the weekly is still okay. Again, this could easily change if you think about 1 to 2 weeks, because in the next 1 to 2 weeks, we have CPI data and Donald Trump inauguration. A lot of craziness can happen at these points. And of course, there's been 2 Trump assassination attempts so far. There could definitely be a third on a Monday here. So always looking for anything that could really spice up the market. And that's something that could really spook the market. I doubt he would actually be assassinated, but the news always spooks everybody, right? So a couple more things here. As far as what's going on today, as you guys can see, some of the worst hit tokens over the last few days have come back roaring. DEXE, AI, 16Z, I know a lot of you guys have been talking to me about that one. Having some really good moves here, both up around 16, 17%. Even Cospa's joined the party here. As far as what's not doing good with Bitcoin going up, Fartcoin, Ondo, Move, SUI, BitGet token, stuff like that. But generally speaking, you look at that, last 90 days, they're all still doing very, very good. Right, the only one that's not doing good is Tau and Rune down here. So maybe be careful with those tokens going forward, or just don't feel the need to do as much dollar cost averaging, right? And hey, Nikki, long time no see. Happy to see all of you guys here. Yeah, what do you call it? This is definitely a new setup for me. I got different setups. I got different screens I switched to now. I got my TV in the back. I got my camera up because I'm standing up to lose some weight here. Hurts my legs, hurts my thighs, hurts my knees even. But yeah, it's working. It's working, right? I'm losing pounds here, so that's nice to see. And of course, as always, I got my nice big jug. I'm down to this point at this day. This is what, 3 p.m. level. I think I'm a few hours behind, but that's okay. Damn, that's good. All right, so as far as Bitcoin news, I was looking on actually X today to find anything new. I have a video coming out tomorrow with some news for tomorrow morning on interest rates and the Fed, what that means and stuff like that. More of a detailed video. But look forward to it. I'm going to start posting some more videos at 4 o'clock in the morning. So when you guys wake up, you guys get to see some nice new news that I put up late at night, right? Michael Saylor is posting some old stuff from Trump here. There's really not much news. This was something I thought was interesting. The SEC Chair Gary Gensler says Bitcoin is a highly speculative asset, but 7 billion people want to trade it. Just like we had gold for 10,000 years, we have Bitcoin, right? A little bit of a change here. And in fact, I'm going to turn off my music. We're actually going to listen to this very fast, just because every time Gary Gensler has to capitulate in some way, it just doesn't make you feel so good. I think it makes me feel good. All right, here we go. And let's push play.
Yeah, I think that Bitcoin is a highly speculative, volatile asset, but with 7 billion people around the globe, 7 billion people want to trade it, just like we do have gold for 10,000 years. We have Bitcoin. It might be something else in the future as well. Right. These other thousands of projects need to show their use case and show that they actually have fundamentals underlying them, or they won't persist, Joe.
Oh my God,
and
you own
that's
Bitcoin.
Where the public. That's why the public needs disclosure.
That's what it's.
I don't.
You love
I've
it.
never owned.
You love.
I've never.
You love it. You don't like those other coins.
I've never owned any of these, and I've been consistent for 7 or 8 years on this.
Well, now you can, because you won't be a SEC chair anymore.
Now you can, because you won't be an SEC chair anymore. Okay, so that was important right there. Ow, Loki, ow, you have long nails. You cannot claw my back, no matter how much you want to treat. He's learning. He's in lesson mode right now. But basically, guys, this is what I think is so interesting here. He makes a point that I've actually made a few times now, that you can imagine over the next 10, 20, 30 years, this is going to be a long process. There's going to be a lot of infrastructure that has to be built out. There are going to be exchanges that deal with cryptocurrency, right? You can imagine almost a NASDAQ component of crypto, right? So the NASDAQ crypto, whatever. Yeah. But there's only going to be certain tokens that can actually get on that exchange. And those are the tokens that actually have a business behind them and not just the meme coins. But just so you guys know, there is a business technically behind Dogecoin, right? So it's not like something like a meme coin can't get on there, but there has to be some business entity behind it and not just the crazy pump and dumps like the Haktua coin that we talked about a few weeks ago, and actually months ago. Fun fact, let me actually open this up very fast. We still, I don't think I've heard anything from Haktua besides besides her post saying contact a lawyer. Queen of memes. See, when did she become a queen of memes, right? She last retweeted back December 4th. She posted on December 20th. I take this situation extremely seriously, yada, yada, yada. We already know about all this stuff, but there just has not been any updates. So I'm curious to see if there's any more news coming out about this. But she has shut the fuck up, and she has not said a thing. So I want you guys to let me know the moment she tweets, because I'm going to make a video about it. Because, oh my God, like, she can't do anything. All this time, guys, I know she's made lots of money over the past year or so as she's become viral for sucking stuff. But this is like a good month of no work, no podcast coming, nothing like that, no new money coming in, which is going to be painful for her, especially because what's taking all of her money right now? Lawyers are taking her money right now, and that's something she's going to have to deal with by herself. All right, Michael Saylor, what happens if Bitcoin hits $1?
A lot of people don't really think. They're like, oh my God, MicroStrategy is going to get liquidated at Bitcoin. It's like, well, dude, no, Bitcoin could go to $1 a Bitcoin. We're not getting liquidated. We're just going to buy all the Bitcoin. If it goes to $1 a Bitcoin, then it's going to go back up again.
I mean, guys, honestly, if Bitcoin went back to $1, I don't know how I'd react to it. Honestly, I'd be a little bit scared. I'd be really, really terrified. That guy has some bigger balls than I ever will, buying all the Bitcoin at $1. Man, if it was back 2014 and Bitcoin went to $1, yeah, I'd buy up a shit of it. But right now, I'm like, damn, $100,000 down to $1. Something must have gone very wrong at that point. Unless it's one of those exchange issues where you see the price of Bitcoin like flash crash down to like $40,000, $30,000, and you just have a random limit order down there and it automatically triggers. Oh, I've heard stories about those people and it just looks amazing. But it's very hard to do because you just have to have a spot account open and you kind of have to have a good to go trade where it doesn't turn off at the end of the day. Trump talking about Bitcoin. Let's see. Actually, what's this one? This is more of a business-related one, but it says, President Trump says, well, let's just hear it. Let's just not talk about it, right? There we go.
This onslaught at lower prices, I'm pledging today that in my second term, we will eliminate a minimum of 10 old regulations for every one new regulation. We'll be able to do that quite easily, actually. And instead of attacking industries of the future, we will embrace them, including making America the world capital for crypto and Bitcoin.
Now, you heard the lack of clapping right there. You know why? This is the Economic Club of New York City. These guys are not pro-crypto just yet, right? And if you actually go back here, listen to this very fast.
Crypto and Bitcoin.
Look at Trump's face when he's saying this. He's like, he's waiting for the applause, but it's, look at, he's like, huh. Look at his face, a little twinge. He's realizing this isn't what the New York elite club is really talking about here as far as Bitcoin. This is still good for us because this means we're going to, of course, get Bitcoin earlier. These people will be late to the party, and basically these people are going to be our extra liquidity, of course. But just realize, not everybody in New York is, not everybody in the world still loves crypto. I haven't watched this video yet, but just that was kind of illuminating. I don't know if you guys thought it was, let me know, but look at him. He's kind of like, damn, you guys don't like this? Okay, that wasn't the big hitter I thought it was going to be. But again, he made the point to say, we want, Bitcoin here. We need that blockchain business, etc., right? What anything else here? Don't know if there's any more actual Bitcoin search volume. This could be interesting, actually. I don't think we can play the... I don't think there's actually any music behind it. USA volume. I'm surprised Japan is so into Bitcoin, but their currency's been going down quite a bit if you guys didn't know. So if you want something more stable, that could be it. Brazil's having some turmoil. I guess all these countries, just like us, are having some turmoil. America's having our turmoil. Turkey had some turmoil. Germany, of course, having all their issues right now with all the immigration and what's happening in Europe. Brazil, of course, they have a leader who's like loved and hated at the same time, so just volatile. Spain is surprising. Japan is not. UK, yeah, their pound has been all over the fucking place since Brexit. Brazil. So you're telling me I need to make some Spanish videos? That's all I'm seeing from this. I got to make some Spanish content. German content. Oh, okay. I can do that. I know how to use AI to give me some Spanish content. And it's very interesting, though. Germany and Brazil. Who would have thought? All right. Anything else here that I think is going to be interesting? Bukele. That's the 22nd. See, I don't know why they keep... Like, this is stuff from... Oh, this is from... Whoa. Wendy O can be kind of wild sometimes. Kind of wild right there. Anything else, though? Not really. Bitcoin has ever only had 3 down years in its history, up only. This would be true. Interest rate hikes. Wasn't there interest rate hikes in 2018, though, too? Years. Yeah, those interest rate hikes in 2018. That's pretty much what kills Bitcoin at this point, right? There we go. Yeah, 2018. What, 2015 maybe it looks like there was negative return? 30%. Let's see. Yeah, it must be 2015 here. Because this all was really positive with a small amount of downturn here, so that'd be 2015. What was going on with 2015? I wonder if there's a pattern or not, 2015. I guess is when we started the process. I guess, okay. But that's towards December, right? I guess maybe they were having talks about it and that talks could have an effect, but December, I would say December wasn't actually so bad there. I mean, let's see. Oh, no, actually, this isn't even a monthly chart. Never mind. This is just showing Bitcoin. Oh, okay, 2008. What was the last one? 2014. I think that was just after a huge, massive rally of 5,000%. I think that's actually not that bad. Never mind. We don't have to worry about interest rates for that one. I was reading this chart completely wrong. Actually, I was thinking these are months or some shit. All right. Get out of some hawk to a spit. Let it go. Let me put some more music on, but I got to turn on the volume so it doesn't blow your ears off. Guys, I think for today I actually chose hip-hop music. There we go. Every now and again I gotta switch it up because the EDM music gets kind of boring here. I just want to see, actually, I've been doing this as a little bit of a daily test, like how has New York Time been doing? New York Time's been fine. New York Time, not much actually happened today, and I'm wondering if that's just because of, I actually started right at London time. I wonder if it's just because of what's happening with inflation data, you know? So I'll keep an eye on that one, but today really not that much of a move. I'll move that right over there. Now, is there any other news that I think you guys should know about? Or if any of you guys have heard a story you guys want me to talk about, actually that might be kind of good as well. Because Bitcoin right now, I mean, as much as I want to give you guys, hey, Bitcoin's doing this, Bitcoin's like, it all changes tomorrow when CPI data comes out and it just becomes a whole different ballgame. President Trump expected to issue Bitcoin-related executive orders on day one, Washington Post. Well, again, that means for us that should be a good move for his inauguration. That should be a bullish move for Trump. And again, that means from Wednesday till Monday, we should have some very positive moves. Now, I guess day one is the 20th, but I think everything will really hit the fan on the 21st, I'm assuming, when he's actually in there signing all those letters and stuff like that. Because I think he has thousands of executive orders he wants to sign. I don't think it's just one or two. Yeah. There's going to be shock and awe with the executive orders, right? This is from AP. 100 executive orders starting day one, right? More than 100. More than 100. Trump will, dictator, no. Okay, I don't know, but over 100 basically from political. That's gonna be important. Brazil Portuguese. Oh yeah, I can't speak Portuguese. That's a whole different thing. You know, Zach's always happy to help you guys out. Queen of Rugs. Her lawyer's probably telling her to shut up. I mean, if I was in that situation, I would definitely be listening to my lawyers. I'd be shutting up. I just don't see the need to promote a coin like that, though. Like, why ever put your face on a token? Why ever make it your thing? I can understand if a project reaches out to you and says, hey, we want to pay you to talk about our project, right? I can understand that. I haven't done one of those, but I can understand it, right? Because as long as it's not a pure meme coin, there's usually something going on, like a cool project. It can be a gaming project. It can be a banking project. It can be something cool and useful. It solves a freaking problem. But like when it comes to this pure meme, pure hype, it's very hard to get behind those types of tokens as far as sponsoring them. And remember, if she would have said no, all of those resources would have went to another influencer out there that might have been going viral at the time, right? Now, I don't know how viral influencers work, but I'm sure there had been somebody else blowing up over the past last year or so, where they came out of nowhere, they took a lot of followers and users from a lot of people, and like, hey, we want to pay you to make a token. There would have been something about somebody else that they could have done it. It might not have been as huge, but they would have found somebody else to do these types of talks with, right? I think that's pretty obvious. Spit on that thing. And hey, I'm happy to see my man buy Gary. Yeah, Gary is I would say Gary's in kind of sorry, my Apple Watch keeps on making noises nowadays. I got a payment, commission payment from Opus Clip. But anyway, yeah, it'll just be interesting for sure. I'm not yeah, fuck Gary. But anyway, what are my expectations for data tomorrow? From what I've been reading in the news, expectations for data is actually not looking that great. Consumers raise inflation expectations, survey shows me. Inflation expectations mixed, job turnover expectations decline. New York Fed survey finds mixed inflation expectations in December. Let's see. Maybe I should just go over here to tools, maybe? Oh, there it is, yeah. Past week. All right. U.S. inflation still slowing as producer prices rise. All right. Maybe this story here from Routers. So this is from the 14th. That is today. We are going to continue without supporting Routers. Yes. Washington, January 14th. U.S. producer prices rose less than expected in December as higher costs for goods were partially offset by stable service prices, suggesting inflation remained on a downward trend after progress had stalled in recent months. The moderation in producer inflation reported by the Labor Department on Tuesday did not change the view that the Federal Reserve would not cut interest rates again before the second half of this year, amid labor market resilience and the threat of a potentially inflation-boosting tariffs on imported goods by President-elect Donald Trump's incoming administration. All right, so you can take two things out of that if you want to. First, prices rose less than expected as far as these goods were. PPI was expected, right? PPI and CPI don't always align the same. Like one can be up 1 month, one can be down, if that makes sense. But if we're following that, generally speaking, we should have a decent CPI number. I think what's happening right now, though, and what usually happens is everybody is pricing in a specific number. So if I go back over here to so I'm trying to type fast, but my computer's actually not keeping up with my typing, so I'm like pausing halfway. You see how we've been kind of popping off the last few months? September was great. That's why we started the rate cut in the first place. That's why everything kind of went kind of crazy for us. If you go back over here to September, kind of bottomed out, right? Kept on going back up. In October, we still went up. November, still going up. Again, we're cutting rates during this time. It's just that in December, everything kind of changed because now we're like, uh-oh, we need to fix this. All of a sudden, we're getting back up to like levels we don't want to see. So instead of cutting anymore, we're just going to have to pause. And that pause, of course, resulted in Bitcoin going whoop, you know, and that's unfortunate. At least, you know, for us as Bitcoin holders here. But tomorrow, consensus is for 2.9%. Okay. That's what was supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like, and the trading economics forecast itself is at 2.9%. So that means inflation should still go up, and that's the highest inflation we've had since July of last year. Okay? That's not good, because that means the Fed is more likely to keep rates paused because inflation continues to go hotter, hotter, hotter. And then that's kind of the gist of it. So I think if everybody is expecting 2.9, if we have 2.8, 2.7, 2.6, Bitcoin goes higher. If we hit 2.9 with 2.9 expectations, I think it's more of a toss-up. Maybe that's good news for us. I think that should be overall good news. Like 51 to 49, Bitcoin would still make a stronger move upwards. And then, of course, if it shows up as 3 or something like that or higher, okay, Bitcoin's going all the way back down to like $89,000 within 2 days or something like that. So it'll be a little bit more of a nasty process. But I just want you guys to understand, like, yeah, it's just not going to be that pretty if we do have bad CPI numbers coming out. Yeah, she messed up a good thing. Yes, sirree. It's right here. Oh, hey, Matt, it's happy to see you. Hold on a second, guys. Move my chair over here very fast. My leg is hurting me. I've been standing up so much, but I told you guys I got plantar fasciitis in my right foot, and I need to wear shoes. But I'm wearing my flip-flops, my slippers right now inside the house, like my house slippers. My house slippers don't have arch support, so it's like fuck. But it's part of the process, I guess. But anyway, that's kind of some of the stuff I see as far as CPI is concerned, right? But this is all you guys have to worry about right now. I think the other thing that we should talk about here is going to be the timing of when you guys might want to be trading Bitcoin on Monday for Trump's inauguration. And this one was more of there you go. I like how they have the schedule, but they don't actually say the times for anything. Like, a schedule without times is pointless. Let it go. So Trump and Vice President-elect J.D. Vance are scheduled to be sworn in on noon, followed by the official farewell for President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. Trump will then head to the president's room near the Senate chamber, where it's a tradition to sign nominations, and then a ball later on tonight. Later on that night, it doesn't really give us times though. So let me instead go over here very fast. Could have swore I saw it somewhere. Actually, let me try here very fast. NBC New York, just in case, because I did make the search. No, there's nothing. Okay, maybe just there's no schedule yet. Trump International Hotel. Oh, never mind. That's not a controversy. I was thinking Inauguration Hotel. I was like, what are they going to try to do at that hotel? Damn. Dressing up that football woman, Carrie Underwood, like she's a Klanman. Oh man, it's going to be divisive. No, this is it. There's just no time associated with it right now. So it looks like right now, Monday, that's when everything really we care about is happening. Unless you guys want to listen to the candlelight dinner talk and stuff like that, which I don't. Monday, St. John Church service, tea at the White House. I think that's where Trump and Biden have tea. That is going to be so awkward. Then we have the swearing in at the Capitol, farewell to the former president and vice president, U.S. Capitol departure ceremony, president signature signing room ceremony, congressional luncheon, president review of the troops, presidential parade. Yeah. All right. Wait. Review the troop. I see balls, inauguration ball, like stuff like that, but I don't actually see the like the actual swearing in. Maybe the U.S. Capitol departure ceremony, maybe? I don't know. Oh, no, sorry, just swearing in ceremony. Oh, my God, yeah. So if it's around noon, all this stuff will be in the afternoon, so I think you guys will have ample opportunities. I'm going to watch the inauguration with some friends up at a cigar lounge, so that would be kind of fun. I'm just very curious to see how this is going to work out. I've been enjoying all the drama, like if you guys watch the Carter videos, Carter funeral videos, Trump and Obama like hanging out like bros while Kamala gets pissed in the corner. I was like, dude, what the fuck is happening? And then Bush slapping Obama on his tummy. I was like, dude, what's going on right now? It's just so much stuff happening right now. All right, let me see. Anything actually popping up right now? XLM is popping off with not much liquidity here, but that doesn't matter. Most altcoins now, guys, are actually coming down a little bit. Ocean. So this might be because altcoins are a little bit more fearful of what's happening with inflation coming out tomorrow. Because Bitcoin overall, I mean, it's coming down a little bit, you know, but it's not as drastic, of course, right? I hope Bitcoin rejects at 98.3, then goes down to 85, 90K, then back up to 120. I mean, I do still think there's a chance that we actually come down a little bit more here. But again, a lot of it is just based off of what happens with this economic news. In the gist of things right now, momentum is still slowing. Of course, the daily momentum has been very freaking choppy. But again, if you look at this like next month, 2 months, 3 months, if we're not having rate cuts, we're not going higher. So we need something of a catalyst to get us going. And now, you know, maybe Trump backs off on tariffs. That can mean that the dollar index starts to go back down a little bit. That's good for Bitcoin, right? We need to see real news and like things have to happen in order for Bitcoin to go higher. Because right now we're shifting sideways. As much as I want to say, oh my God, everything is great, you guys know we've been going down for the past weeks, and it all started once a new trend was introduced to the marketplace. That trend was no more rate cuts for a while. We're going to have to pause, and that pausing is just messing everything up. We all know it. You know it. I know it. It's just making things a little bit more painful than we want to admit, right? And we're going to have to deal with it. XRP is flying past 280. Some news with SEC, I think, for January 15th with a case maybe. January 15th, I would be surprised if XRP doesn't have a bounce when there's some big announcement from the SEC. Yeah. I mean, the SEC, I think they just launched a lawsuit against Elon Musk and Twitter, so they're still going at it. But again, once the SEC, they want to bring it before Trump gets into office. That way they can't say like, oh, they got rid of it because Trump is in office and Trump and Elon are bros, right? There's a lot of bureaucratic politics going on right now. The stuff we all hate, I guess. But again, once they get the ball rolling, there will be lots of announcements. There'll be a lot of good news. I'm hoping that could continue the rally, but in case the overarching pain or the overarching theme, which is what the Fed is doing, unless that gets into more of a bullish perspective, I think we're going to see a lot of short-term pumps and a larger downtrend of a market until we get those rate cuts coming again, in which case we can see Bitcoin going much higher. The painful part about all this, and I cannot stress this enough, and I told you guys at the beginning of the stream, altcoins will be decimated if we have something like that occur, right? Bitcoin will be fine. Ethereum probably will be okay, but Ethereum's gone down 20% in one day before. Like, let's not forget, it can crash too. Dogecoin will come down, Solana will come down. It'll be everything. They'll be okay, but they're going to be tokens taking some massive falls. So sooner rather than later, we do want to see Bitcoin hold its head high and continue moving higher and higher and higher. Because if we don't, while we have time to wait for Bitcoin, your altcoin portfolio, if you have heavy meme coins, it could go down like 70% before you even make that couple 100%, maybe 1,000% profit off of it, which could just be a very terrible experience. And of course, it just messes with your mental health. I mean, I don't know if you guys get stressed about trading and stuff, but I do every now and again. And I guess it's not so much like, oh, I'm losing money, but it's like, damn, Jerome Powell, let's get this ball rolling. Right? I'm not as patient as you guys would believe. I really like to see money flow in at a reasonable time, and that's because I come from options trading, right? And options trading is all about time. You're not really looking for the long-term stuff, although I have that situated on the side. I really want to see money come in quite fast, and we're just not seeing that because institutional money has been flooding in. The world's kind of been in a shit show. We have high interest rates. It's just not been a good environment for Bitcoin. And even in that bad Bitcoin environment, Bitcoin has still decided to go higher and higher and higher. Remember, war in the Middle East right now, war in Europe, but Bitcoin still found a way to go higher. And of course, we did survive a massive banking crisis during the initial spike in interest rates, or towards the end of the spike of interest rates, I should say. That was back in like March of 2023 or March of 2022. I think it was March of 2023, but I'm not entirely sure. Again, 23, yeah, because it's been like 2 freaking years now. But yeah, a lot of chaos to come as far as I'm concerned. They won't have rate cuts. What do you call? They say we're supposed to have 2. We're going to get more dot plots at the end of this month, I believe, with the next FOMC meeting. This is not an FOMC meeting where they usually do the cuts and stuff, and they have a big press conference, usually a little more quiet. But I'm leaning more towards 0 rate cuts over 4 rate cuts at this point. Now, me being a betting man, I still think there's actually a good case to make for 4 rate cuts this year, because I think the Fed is, oh damn, my freaking foot, plantar fasciitis, guys, is no fucking joke. I think I think the Fed is going to over tighten to the point they start to break something. And it won't be the entire economy going into a recession or something like that, but they will start to break stuff, and that breaking will force them to pull up a little bit as well, right? And hey, Vegas, Nick, we were just talking about that a little bit ago. Definitely having a big move because it had a pretty nasty move the last few days, and it's having a great rebound. Again, one of those tokens you guys might look at for the long term. Yeah, definitely a good call there, Vegas, Nick. You lost all your money on Hawk2 coin, you're broke? Oh, Jesus. What do you call it? Hawk2 token? No, definitely a crazy thing right there. Maybe it's a dump, then a Trump pump for inauguration? Again, it's more about like what's happening in the world and liquidity and what's happening with the Fed. Trump, Elon, they can move Bitcoin for a day or a week, but we want Bitcoin to have those parabolic moves. And that doesn't really change unless there's some massive piece of news that changes the way we view everything, right? Like, for instance, all of the media kept on saying Kamala Harris was going to win, and during that whole time, Bitcoin was kind of flat during the last few months of the presidential election, like the race. The moment Trump won, everybody was like, oh shit, we're going to have pro-crypto people in office. Literally within 24 hours, Bitcoin was skyrocketing and it's on its way towards $108,000, right? Just screaming higher, making us a bunch of money, almost going so fast you couldn't catch up to, right? There was no real good buying opportunities. It's just going higher and higher and higher. And hey, Steve, I'm doing well. Nice to see you again, man. But yeah, I mean, that's just kind of what happened. We don't really have more surprises like that. The surprises that I think we have to focus on are definitely more of the surprises of economic data, right? Oh, tomorrow, instead of looking for a 2.9% inflation rate, we actually got 2.7, 2.6. Oh my God, that's great news. Bitcoin will skyrocket off of that. That's what we need to see happen. Or, oh my God, job numbers are so much worse than expected. Oh my God, what's happening right now? Does this mean we need to cut rates again? Oh my God, that's great news for Bitcoin. But again, that also means that we have bad news for Americans losing their jobs. But I mean, even today, I think I posted a video in the morning. Go over here to CNBC. It might still be up. SEC sues Elon Musk, right? There, this one right here. Meta announces 5% cuts in preparation for intense year. I mean, they're already saying to themselves it's going to be an intense year, and they're going to have 5% job cuts. Now, 5% is just enough to not take too much meat off the bone, but as somebody who worked in corporate America, it's enough to motivate everybody to work a little bit harder, especially if you're having them try to come back to the office. So they're playing hardball with their employees right now, right? South Korea's impeached President Yoon Suk Yeol arrested, local media reports. Damn, that's some craziness going on over South Korea. I don't know what's happening in South Korea, but like, how is North Korea more stable than South Korea? That's crazy over there. Crazy. But yeah, again, 5% cuts. Now, I haven't heard much about anything else, but again, if you're talking about an NVIDIA or Google, tech giants don't perform well in a high interest rate environment, especially if we're not cutting, right? Bay Area tech giant to dump thousands. That's Meta's thing right there. They should just say it's Meta, but they're trying to get you to click on it, right? All it is Meta. Let's see, Macy's and Rite Aid. Not a lot of jobs right there, but still. Let's see. Microsoft rules out layoffs in India. Of course they're not. That's cheap labor right there. You do not want to mess with the cheap labor, especially if they've been working good enough for you. No, yeah. I mean, I see some YouTubers pray for a wave of layoffs in 2025 due to economic something. But again, the more layoffs we have, the better of an opportunity we have for Bitcoin to go higher, right? And hey, Steve, YouTube paused my membership. I didn't ask them to. Okay, so YouTube took my channel off of the monetization plan, whatever you want to call it, partnership. I'm no longer a partner of YouTube where I can earn money with ads, right? And they didn't actually tell me what happened. They said I did reuse content, but if you guys have been watching my videos for the past few months, even years, you guys know haven't been doing anything different, right? So I tried to ask them what video in question actually has a problem, and they're like, we can't tell you. Like literally, they were like, we cannot tell you. And I was like, they said, please, we hope you understand, but you can apply in 90 days. So I have to wait till like April to reapply again, but I don't know what video I did that messed up. So I'm kind of just like, I'm out of luck. There's nothing I can really do. When my channel got terminated, I was able to go to people for help, but that was termination. This one's just, and it was like a wrongful termination, right? This one, nobody will even tell me what the fuck happened. So I'm pretty disappointed in YouTube, to be honest. But like, I'm losing like $1,000 a month because of it, with like the ads for my tutorials and stuff like that. So yeah, so YouTube took all the memberships away. Everything's paused. By the time I reapply, all of the memberships will be terminated, so there won't be any record of them because of the way they have it set up. So I can't do it, which is kind of like sucks in my opinion. But like literally, there's nothing I can do. I went through the process. I appealed. They said, "Oh no, we can't pass it." And again, they wouldn't tell me what video violated their terms of service or their guidelines. So I'm just like, yeah. I feel like it's just because I'm a crypto channel and I kind of went down the political road this last election, kind of being a little bit more pro-Trump just because of his views on cryptocurrency, and I feel like it's a little bit of a retaliation against that. So to not piss off the YouTube overlords even more, I'm just gonna still talk about like Trump, Kamala, or whoever the next Democratic person is as far as their views on cryptocurrency, but like I'm not gonna rant about YouTube or stuff like that as far as like saying some nasty stuff about them. I'm just like, it's shitty. It sucks having $1,000 sticking out of your pocket every month. And again, this isn't like new videos. So this is like for the tutorials I've had on my channel for months and months and like years, right? So yeah, so it really sucks. There's no more memberships, nothing like that. No more members only content, even though I wasn't really making too much of that, right? But again, there's nothing I can do. They literally said I can apply in April. So I'm like, okay, I'll see what they say, but there's no fixing it. I talked to support. Support was basically like, go fuck yourself. And I was just like, why can't you just tell me? They're like, we can't. We're not allowed to. And I was just like, it pissed me off quite a bit. And thanks, me, because I appreciate it. Can you give us any thoughts about how WorldCoin's doing? It's at 2 cents right now. All-time high is $12. Oh, $2 right now. WorldCoin. Do I have that one right here? Not doing great at all right now. This is not a theme. This is a theme that a lot of AI tokens have been facing. Usually when this sucker breaks down, like you can see right here, right? Round 2, possibly about to happen. It can be kind of painful for this one. So for me, it almost looks like a giant head and shoulders as well. Kind of an ugly one, but it looks like it. What I would honestly do is I would just dollar cost average this sucker. I just wouldn't do too much. Like I wouldn't do a heavy amount of dollar cost averaging. Personally, I've ridden this wave 2 times. I bought some back over here. I bought some over here. It jumped up. I sold a lot of it back over here. In fact, I sold a lot actually way towards the top. I got real lucky with this one. And then I left the last 20% for a stop loss. The stop loss got hit way over here. So I was kind of pissed off because I thought it might keep on going up. And I bought some over here. Actually, I bought some over here, over here, over here. My average was like way high. And I was still able to sell at a decent price. I'll just not as really much profit because I fucked up and bought too high over here. Now, that being said, right now, I'm happy to keep on dollar cost averaging this. It's been known to have these really big moves, and I'm so optimistic that altcoins, specifically those AI tokens, will have their good runs. But for now, it just does not look that good. You're gonna really have to think about this as far as like, ooh, I gotta hold this for at least 5 to 8 months before I really start to see a decent profit out of it. And so I'm not out of it completely, but I'm just still a little bit of dollar cost averaging. It's on my dollar cost average list. It's just, it's something that's came out back in like 2023, right? It's a newer token. Does not look that pretty right now, of course, but it's not something I've given up on. It's just something where I'm like dollar cost averaging. It's the best thing I can hope for with this token right now because I still believe it can have another big rally. Because back when it was $12, it was absolutely fantastic. Dude, your energy level is super high. Keep up the great work. That's because I'm standing up and I've been going to the gym every day. Interesting times, right? I'm not even really losing weight right now. I've checked the last few days. I think the fat's been turning into muscle and it's been kind of fucking up my weight loss, but I feel like eventually it kind of all, it does what it needs to do. It liquidates the fat, if you want to call it that, and I'll be fine. But again, more energy, stuff like that. I'm happy. Stand up for your right. Dude, there's nothing I can do. I don't have a Twitter following. Like, basically, you have to kind of like, what I've seen before is YouTube will change if you get a lot of people to tweet at Team YouTube. I don't have that type of community, right? You need like hundreds, if not thousands of people tweeting and tweeting and tweeting. You need to be a large presence on Twitter and YouTube. It's just not the way my channel works, right? So, it's just kind of a painful experience. Now, again, I'll survive. It's fine. Not the end of the world, but damn, if I'm not pissed off at YouTube a little bit because of how they did me dirty. Right. But, for now, let's just focus on the trading. I got sponsorships and stuff like that. At least it didn't terminate my channel, right? But I'm going to keep on giving you guys all the news, all the videos, though you guys will see no ads whatsoever. So I guess that's kind of a good thing for you. If you guys see ads in my videos going forward, let me know, because they shouldn't technically be there. So, you know, maybe they're taking my revenue and putting it into their pocket, and I'm not getting anything. That could also be something that's happening, right? You can't see the super chat. Nope, they took it all away. Took it all away, right? I'll try to get back into it in April, Alexandre. But yeah, what do you think is going to happen to the market tomorrow? If I was to guess, I'd probably say Bitcoin would shoot up a little bit here. Then as we go into Trump's inauguration, we should probably go into a little bit of dumping, because at the end of the day, really, all we're focusing on is what happens with rate cuts, right? So I think inflation should be decent tomorrow. I think that'll give Bitcoin a short-term bump. But I just don't think over the next week or 2 weeks we're going to have enough momentum to keep us going up, because, again, we still have I don't have it yet. Yeah, January 20th to the 29th, again, like a whole week after Trump is inaugurated, basically, we have an FOMC meeting where they're basically going to say, fuck, inflation's so high, we're not going to have a rate cut for a while, live with it, and that should push Bitcoin down even more. So, you know, it's like, And again, it's not the big one like we have in March, but again, after January, and this is not a big one, there's nothing in February, and we have to come back in March. That's like a horrible February setup, in my opinion, right now. Now, I'm hoping everything is good. I'm hoping that Trump kind of comes in and he shakes things up enough where all this regulatory news comes into the marketplace and Bitcoin goes boom. But as far as like looking at inflation and what's going to happen with rate cuts and stuff, I would still say I'm not really bullish on Bitcoin right now. I'm more of like a kind of a passive investor, like just buying up more and more and more as it goes sideways here. But as far as tomorrow, I would still expect us to have a pretty decent tomorrow unless inflation comes in really, really hot. If it comes in at 2.9, which is the expectations, I think Bitcoin goes higher. 2.8, 2.7, of course, higher. If we have a surprise of 3.0, or excuse me, 3%, that'd be pretty disastrous for Bitcoin. So I wouldn't go to sleep with an open trade. I'd wake up tomorrow, place a trade a few minutes before CPI comes out, have a decent stop loss and a price target, because, you know, the wicks beforehand can be kind of extreme, and then just let it sit and wait. And then if you kind of almost like a lotto thing, you're either going to see a nice little pump or you're going to see a dump, but probably like a higher leverage type of play, honestly, unless you want to put a decent amount of capital up behind it. But again, usually a lot of leverage isn't really the smartest play, especially during a volatile time. So it's more of like a, be careful type of day, right? What chart has better technicals, Aave, Link, or Uni? I like Link's chart the best for long term. Can you look at WIF? Yeah, I can look at WIF. WIF is actually, we talked about this earlier, it's kind of more of a painful experience right now. Back up here to the weekly chart. It's hitting your typical support zone. We see it all. You know, some support we had way back over here, some support over here, and now we're finding some support over here. Generally speaking, this is typically where you'd want to be buying right now and hope for that we can actually have a bounce and try to attack that resistance level one more time. I think it's worth trying to do this if you did want to swing, but this is more of a spot trade and not a long-term leverage trade, because all you're really betting on at this point is if it comes back down here to support, you're losing 32%, right? You probably don't want to have that stop loss right then and there. You might want to have a little bit closer to home, so that maybe losing about 13 to 15%. On the other side here, if I can actually go back a couple seconds, there you go. If things work out for you, it may swing all the way back up here, and that's around 40%. 13, 15% for 30, 40%, 50% in this circumstance, that seems like it's worth it. But I really wouldn't do too much of a leverage play on it. If you did want to do leverage, maybe 2x is probably as most you want to do. Maybe 3x, but I mean, you're really pushing it even at 3x right there, right? So that's probably the way I would view it right there. But yeah, there's an opportunity there. It's just that, do you trust Bitcoin to be higher over the next month or so? And I'm like, I don't know, because of what's happening with the Fed and their mindset right now. When we listen to what the Fed has to say at the end of the month, I'm really going to dive deep into it with you guys with ChatGPT and kind of figure out what's going on. But anyway, I'm going to call it a night here. I'm going to go out and, I guess I got to go do some laundry and stuff like that. And I will be going out actually to see a friend here tonight. But want to say goodnight to all of you guys. I'm going to give Loki one more treat so you guys can actually see him. Look, around. And then you get to see the majestic dog. Oh, I forgot I can always do this. Majestic dog. Actually, break it into 2 pieces. Hey! See, yeah. When he gets excited, he does it. He's not supposed to, but he knows. Yeah, see, okay, there you go. You're being so good right now. When he's excited, though, he feels the need to chew on people and everything. Not really me, more of toys. There you go. All right. Didn't even touch my finger that time. So, I will see all of you guys a little bit later. Thank you guys for watching the stream. And yeah, get ready for more and more videos. Guys, I have a video coming out tomorrow. I'm going to try to do 2 videos a day to see how that works out. One will come early in the morning and one will come out more in the afternoon. I may have to change the time here, 10 to 2. I may have to change that. But until then,